Welcome everyone. Today we're going to dive deep into the world of language models and look at a practical comparison of the top LLMs operating an agent for the past year or so. We'll be stress testing, cross-examining, and benchmarking the leading contenders in the market. So here's how I selected our lineup of models. First and foremost, it's industry adoption. Just how widely are these models used across various sectors? Number two, overall public cloud. So the buzz and the general reputation that each model holds. Number three, presence in major benchmark tables and leaderboards. So their overall rankings and performances sort of averaged out over about a 12-month period. And of course, personal experience, insights from my extensive work, and even anecdotal knowledge from the AI developer community and things like that. Our evaluation criteria will include basic custom tool usage, simple RAG operations, real-time web research assignments, and personal agentic assistance. So basically, we'll see how well the agent can perform tasks on behalf of us in Gmail, Notion, and Atlassian's JIRA. So our contenders for today are OpenAI's GPT-4o, Anthropic Claude 3.5 Sonnet, Gemini 1.5 Pro latest, DeepSeek v3 Chat, Mistral AI largest latest, and xAI's Grok 2. As part of our assignment here, here's exactly what we'll be doing. We'll start by building a base template agent canvas, and then we will replicate that 5 times, swapping out only the chat model nodes. Next, we'll initiate a simple hello sequence to ensure that all canvases are functioning and ready for testing. And then we'll pose 14 or 15 or so identical questions to each agent, and then observe and comment on their performance, things like general adherence to our instructions, the quality of the output, and much more. So those questions will then allow us to see how each model behaves and responds across real-world practical tasks. There are plenty of theoretical and academic tests and leaderboards out there, but we will focus on things that are practical. And for our purposes, we will work with the models on sort of vital daily tasks that most likely will soon be done by millions of agents all over the web. All right, so let's get started by creating the Flowise template canvas that we will use for all of the model agent tests. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Inside of this kind of comparison, evaluation, wrap-up video will actually be a really powerful tutorial to build an agent that, this base agent can actually already do a lot. So as we created, I will sort of explain what the capabilities are as we go through the things that we add. All right, so for this comparison video, we will be using the LangChain tool agent. So it's not an assistant or anything else, but very clear here we are within Flowise, which is our abstracted LangChain, and we are using the tool agent for everything. So we can create it, and let's say here, Tesseract 2025 LLM comparison tutorial agent template. Okay, so this template will be used across all of our things, and let's just build it out really quick. So drag the agent. Then the very first thing we will want actually is a cache. So I will bring out, I typically use Upstash everywhere. It's great. I strongly suggest it. But of course, for base testing, you can just do the in-memory stuff. Redis is just fine too. Okay, so chat models, the very first one, kind of our core that we will build on. Yes, it also happens to be what I use the most, is OpenAI. And that will be our kind of, initial brain. But as we replicate this template after we're done building it, we will go ahead and just swap these out for the other providers that we're covering. And as you can see, we actually have a lot more than the initial 4 or 5. So what I think I'll end up doing is that we'll do these top ones first, and then in about a month, I'll do a follow-up video here and cover a lot more, or basically all of them. And let's see. So chat model stays here. Then we will want to quickly go down to memory. Pretty much across the board, I've just for a long time now been using DynamoDB. It's AWS, it's Dynamo. It's just perfect. So strongly suggest it for all your stuff. But of course, Mongo and Redis do work just fine. Zep has Zep's great. Kind of a bit of a slightly different approach, I guess. So we will be using AWS DynamoDB chat memory across all of our agents. We won't be moderating the input on top of it's already there, so don't need that. So we'll come down here to just a second. Okay, what do we want to do next? Yeah, let's see. So those will be kind of the baseline things. No chat prompt template, that we will just dial in here in the tool agent. And then let's see. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with our tool layout. So this is this will run a basic agent for us, the most minimal implementation. So typically just grab your stuff. Here we will go with 4.0 latest for now, and 0.1 latest and preview the very latest that's just recently come out from OpenAI. That will come in the next video. So here we will use the tried and true, and that's yeah, just set to 0.5 here. Okay, and then bring out the credentials here. Okay, table name, partition key. Yep, set all of that. Okay, so then let's put this here. Cache is going to be here. And then input moderation, nope, so remember to save. Okay, so the vast majority of the rest of the canvas will be our tools. So we'll go ahead and set the agent up with all the basic stuff. So give it, of course, a calculator. We're not going to link and reference between chat flows for the sake of this video, but we will be doing more of that in the future. We are going to do a code interpreter. This will be one of the last things that we have it examine, and kind of a bonus thing, so it won't be part of the the full grid of testing, so to speak. But okay, let's keep going and fill out. So the code interpreter is basically going to allow it to not just answer questions over code, but evaluate and run code scripts and just different kind of stuff in an environment, so to speak. So that's how the agent can actually perform programming work and not just answering question work. Okay, then we will drag Composio. I don't know if it's supposed to be Composio or Composio, but whatever and however it is pronounced, to be honest, this is the end game. Composio, oh my gosh, as I'll show here through our test grid, once we go through the 4 Composio tools, it's remarkable what they're doing over there. Because I had, there's a bit of context, I had built out my own kind of sort of Composio, some of those like solutions and things that I needed done. But yeah, now being able to just natively set things up with Composio, this is where immense personal agentic assistance comes into play. So we will test each model across the Composio toolkit with at least a couple of major providers. Then custom tools will be huge in our testing. We do want to see how the different LLMs handle real-time data coming back from APIs in various, in various sizes and quantities. So that's going to be a huge part. Then yes, we have, as part of our research assignment, we're going to ask it to use EXA's neural web search mode. Yes, we're also going to utilize Google custom search in parallel together with EXA and Brave. And then we're not going to do any of these, but we are going to do some additional SERP query work. So we will enable it with a SERP provider, and let's see, I actually sometimes run them both again. You can call for all of these in individual, ask the agent, hey, I want you to only use Google to get my results, because that'll provide one completely unique experience, and EXA's result, it's a very different experience. So, but we will go ahead and enable all of them. Okay, then we will also, yes, give it the native web browser, the LangChain web browser, absolutely. And in this case, then we will duplicate I like to kind of run things separate. So duplicate your node, and this chat node is going to run the agent itself, and then this chat here will just run the web browser queries. So web browser comes in really handy when you or user asks for the things really specifically, like provides a URL and says, here, I need you to go there, visit that. And if it's a accessible link, then we're able to sort of read things right from the web browser kind of LangChain module. So that's going to be a tool. Let's go ahead and bring out our embeddings. So in this case, just standard OpenAI embeddings. This is kind of provides a full stack of web research, basic search, pretty complex and lengthy search abilities to the agent, where first you have, my favorite nowadays is EXA, to just go ahead and trust it in auto mode. So we use auto prompt mode, and we set this to neural. And since we do, the big difference there is that these are primarily all keyword based, right? Web searches. So very handy in many scenarios. But sometimes when you're really trying to have this be more of like a dynamic research experience, and the tool agent is not just there, evaluating a couple of results from the top Google or top, which can be great in some cases, but can be really not so great in many others. So with EXA's neural search, we're able to do kind of deep targeted web research. Then Google and Brave basically provide us the entirety of every type of web query, at least on a search engine respect. And then we have these two aggregators, SERP and SERPer, essentially kind of providing the SERP. It's a little bit, I think it's the way that it represents what I've seen. It's similar to what like Google and Brave Search API will provide, but they do have a slightly different format. And it also can be used to enrich your queries and requests. This allows us to do quite extensive web browsing in different formats. So as you can see, we can tell the agent to visit things directly, query things, then convert to through embeddings, and then reason over that, or allow exa to return already kind of crunched results and pre-formatted or just slightly better results. And then we augment that with Brave and, SERP and SERPer and whatever else. And then of course, all the custom tools in the real queries. Let's go ahead and basically set all of these to have keys. And then we can come back to our embeddings and connect that to the web browser. And then the web browser was our first tool that we connected. Quick note here when building these out. So like I said, yeah, basically this is my template that I use across everywhere. And I think a lot of agents, kind of have very different, of course, layouts and stuff, but this is pretty common nowadays. So we do have this main chat models. That's the brain that we're testing and evaluating and basically considering as the LLM, being providing all our core stuff. And then this LLM runs the web browser. And typically what I like to do, a quick tip is you want to cache your across your main LLM, but you don't necessarily want to cache always on your web browser one. Just because this kind of keeps things fresh and ensures that then when the agent says, hey, I'm going to use this web browser tool, I really just want to be receiving a new experience, a kind of a new set with every query. But of course, you can also cache both of these. So let's see, we will connect then our calculator and everything goes to the tools. So all of the different web browsers, scrapers, direct kind of HTML and DOM elements. So, oops. All right, let's set this. Oh no, I am unable to connect this cable. Okay, so that's all hooked up. And this is going to give us that base. All right, cool. So now let's do the custom tools that we will actually be using here. So for that, let's see here. We can go ahead and connect it. All right, so for custom tools, the first one that I want is yes, this one. So get market trends most active, and then let's do this one. This tool now will be stock recommendations. Okay. And then just a couple more, and I'll explain what they actually do and where they're coming from just in a second here. So trading view. So this one will be I believe that's one. Yeah. Market movers. Okay. And then the last one, actually two more. Get seeking alpha, quant ratings. Yep. And last one. Last one will be save up. Last one is a second. I'm just checking the names because there's over 300 tools on this Flowise instance. And Flowise, still not a great way to manage all of them. There's no folders, just kind of one big list. Okay, so get stock price information. Stock price information. Yeah, I believe that's it. All right, so these custom tools, essentially what we will use them for is to ask the agent to perform kind of relatively simple and a bit complex, so kind of intermediate level quant, financial analyst and quant styled work. So we will basically do, we'll ask it to query this real-time finance data API coming from Rapid API. More videos will be coming out soon on this whole thing, but yeah, so everything in these custom tools is coming from Rapid API. So here we will do an initial query that says, yeah, please fetch and analyze the latest market trends and news for the most active stocks in the most active category. And I'd like for you to apply finance analyst persona and employ the calculator if needed, and then rank the retrieved results from best opportunities to worst to explore investing in. So to accomplish, and there's basically then a couple more questions where we will force it to use multiple tools. And what we will get here is just, or what I did, the additional tools that we have is here, like something that goes to this huge Embeddings finance API and kind of aggregates and collects stock recommendations. So that will allow the agent to be a bit more informed. By the way, all of this stuff is real-time data. So coming mostly from like TradingView is a massive finance trading provider company. So all this stuff here is operating as though you would consult things yourself on any kind of stock exchange-based or securities-based service. So we'll get some kind of additional help and results across the different things like Seeking Alpha. So if you're familiar with, Seeking Alpha is pretty big, and we're going to grab some real-time data there as well. Okay, so that will handle our custom tool testing and benchmarking part. And then let's see, let's do now our RAG. So I will show you here super quickly how awesome and pretty, solid, just straight out of the box RAG coming out of Flowise is now. So in order for us to set up the ability for this agent to actually query an index in the vector space and retrieve results that are not just coming from like the chat history there, basically it'll allow us to upload files. And the way that we do that, so we actually use, it's a tool, and you want to instantiate the retriever tool. So whenever working with this approach and using agents, tool agents, definitely retriever tool is the way to go. So the retriever tool will then require for us to actually have a retriever and a service, our vector store that we're using. And in our case, it's going to be Pinecone. So Pinecone across the board. I've worked with a few others, but pretty much everything, multiple indexes across a couple of accounts, everything we have is in Pinecone. So I'm strong Pinecone believer, wonderful stuff basically across the board. Yeah, you can't go wrong with it. And then if you subscribe to it either through AWS or Google Cloud Platform, and I think even Azure now has it too. It's basically, the number one solution for all vector store space based memory. Okay, then we will do our embeddings here. 1 second. So yes, we can drag out also a recursive character text splitter. So this will allow us to, to do pretty straight. It's as straightforward as it sounds. It's gonna split text and help chunk things. And okay, so vector stores, and the thing that two more things. So we need a document loader, and of course, as you could see here, lots of different options, every type of basically thing you need. But I have been honestly getting by with and really liking the where is it now? 1 second, file loader. So the generic file loader that gives us flexibility to loading text, JSON, CSVs, docx, PDF files. It's great. It's great. So unless you have specific need and use and you're building on the edge with a, some sort of a agent solution that just required a specific type or source, then yeah, that's going to have its own thing. But this is really good across the board just for your base setup. So let's do that. The text splitter connects to text splitter in the file loader, and then the document goes and connects to the document here in the Pinecone retriever. Make sure it's set to retriever action and not vector store. And then we're going to copy over our embeddings node. Just shove it over here somewhere. And let's see, that's gonna go embeddings here. Yep. And then retriever tool is, where is it? Yeah, okay. Retriever tool can connect to the mothership, the tool agent, and then the actual retriever out should connect. Yeah, sorry. So we connect the Pinecone retriever to the retriever tool. So then this enables the agent to do things kind of like if user asks, which in our query will specifically ask, we'll upload some documents and then specifically ask it to do to look within those documents and stuff like that. So kind of employing that long-term memory or larger context things understanding of. And we'll also in the template and then go ahead and include the record manager. So you can use a record manager to manage your records. Sorry, don't know why I feel the need to explain sometimes when. So connect that to, I guess, what it does is it keeps track and a ledger of, we'll do a video in the near future, how to view all of the data that you have in a really easy, simple manner and approach in like everything, basically the entire SQLite DB file on how to work with it. But here, this just allows you to add records here and kind of make sure that we don't upload things twice. Honestly, I haven't had a ton of experience with it, but let's use it. So this is RAG, and that takes care. Yeah, we have everything here. So I'm going to name this retriever tool. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so RAG knowledge base retriever. And let me now add the description. Okay, so what it is retriever tool allows you to query and get data from the main RAG data bank of the user. Use this retriever tool for all operations where a user requests information or asks. Okay, yeah, let's see. Let me see the full thing. Yeah, or ask questions that do not require real-time web searching. So as you can see, very basic kind of starter description. I wouldn't roll with that for any actual production, but it's pretty good. Just to get us going. And then we can go ahead and add Pinecone here and say, let's call that. And here, actually, 1 second, let me make sure. I just created an index specifically for this, so everything is nice and kind of correct and neatly organized. So let me just make sure that I'm naming it correctly. We will allow direct file upload, and this will kind of help us out quite a bit. And then so the name space that I'm looking for is going to be, oh yeah, there it is, Tesseract Knowledge Index. All right, so we have, this is good for now. Fine, set that. Okay. And then let's see. So that's going to allow us to test these models on RAG questions in a pretty basic manner, but you can scale this into pretty large production stuff. So then, okay, that kind of sets, let's do the Composio files or nodes. So here we didn't connect this yet. Let's connect E to B, connect Composio. So I'll be doing, because I'm so amazed at what I've been able to do with Composio so quickly. I'll be doing a very detailed long video on Composio here super soon, but basically you set up your, we won't cover that here, but what Composio offers you to, allows you the ability to do basically, if you want an agent to answer your emails, do all your Shopify orders. I mean, the tool is like manage all your GitHub repos across every possible GitHub organization, do everything in your JIRA, Confluence, I mean, Asana, the list goes on and on and on. And it's now become incredibly easy and simple. Well, maybe perhaps not simple across the board, but simple enough to understand and get started with. So what we will do, I will be testing the agents with, we're going to say, if the Composio things work a little bit differently. So you have these now refresh buttons. Most nodes really don't have them. Actually, none, I don't think. So this is a new thing in Flowise. But it's great because now it's allowing us to do pretty dynamic stuff. We just update things, right? So you see the little spinner loader. Then for this tool, I'm going to search for Gmail. So again, I had to connect things behind the scenes here and what we'll cover in a specific dedicated Composio video. But for now, this is, just how you set it up. You choose the app you want. Then we basically, let's see, is it going to, I was having a couple issues if it's going, let's see. Okay, connected. So you will see it go from not connected and giving kind of like, not an error, but just that message to connected. But that's again only when you have stuff set up in Composio dashboard. And then for the actions to use, again, update that. So we're using send email. So we're going to ask the agent on our behalf to prepare an email, and then basically, do everything in Gmail that I would as a person do there, right? So then let's go Composio 2. So the second instance is now going to handle JIRA for us. So we have a JIRA related testing query task. So I will come here and just search by JIRA. Okay. Refresh usually just to kind of get everything synced up. So auth status, connected. And then the action here that we want is JIRA Oh, whoops. Oh, you know what? You see how you have to refresh, which is a little bit annoying. So this I might file as a Flowise report. But otherwise, yeah, no, it's great. Everything's good. So this is going to be JIRA create issue. So if you are a Atlassian person, then yeah, what we're going to be doing here is just typing a couple of words, basically our prompt, into the agent, our chat, and then the Composio agent will deposit that issue to our JIRA. So the tools that I will be showcasing here and using for the testing have been, I do have these working. So took some little bit of setting up, and there were some kind of things yet to consider and learn, but it's very quick. So the second instance covers JIRA. Then we have another tool now that is going to do Notion for us, just a very simple Notion question. So let's connect that and connect that. Okay, refresh the menu here, Notion. Okay, refresh, connected, yes. And refresh this to get our correct menus. And we're just gonna use, this one's called Notion list users. So we're going to ask the agent to use Composio to go into my Notion and then list out all the users that I have in that specific project. But then again, as you see, as we go through these, pretty much the entirety of like GitHub has something like 300 plus available actions. Most of these big providers, everything is covered. So you can imagine how now just a small network of these agents calling enough of these tools, I mean, in whatever configurations, that yeah, this is now this agent with some autonomy and some semi-autonomy, I guess, can be a full-on PM inside of JIRA and just doing, you know, the entire life cycle of it. Okay, create the stories, send out the emails, check out what this and that. So that's what, if you're kind of wondering or just new and starting out in the world of agents, this is what they mean. I'm trying to make it to understand as simple as possible. So we have the agent, which is like the infrastructure and the framework. Then this brain that is coming right now from 4.0 OpenAI. And then the Composio layer, infrastructure layer, allows you to create these like dynamic OAuth connections to basically not any service, but it's every major service. Most things that, you know, where everybody is are covered here. And let's see. Oops, I dropped this. And this is, yeah, JIRA. Yeah, so every time you refresh, you know it's working with Composio when you keep refreshing and it's connected. Because I've had issues now, and I'll cover those in the dedicated video, where if you have things set in bit incorrectly in Composio, then they will remain disconnected here, even though the app name like shows up and stuff. So yeah. We have that, and that's pretty good for our template. If we do have time, then we may do GitHub as well, but this should take us through. All right. So as a quick summary, we can take a look at what we did here. We did a tool agent. We built a tool agent. What can the tool agent do? It can search the web in a pretty sophisticated keyword-based way via Brave search and Google, which custom search, but essentially it's just Google. It's a bit of a kind of a wrapper experience. Then we have Exa, which is an LLM as a web search service that allows us to not just have a keyword-based approach, but we're really querying the web in a quite a different way. And then we also have some SERP aggregation kind of APIs that just allow us to really get any kind of real-time data. So basically what ChatGPT and Claude do. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure what they use on their, consumer-based chat products, how many of these services they have, or if it's just like 1 or 2 or even 10, or they have a completely different approach. But this is pretty comprehensive when it comes to having a research agent that's real-time enabled. Basically, anything you ask it that requires data, it now has quite a bit of resources, and then also including the browser to get that data. Then next, not all data is generally available, so we've set up custom tools that are calling rapid APIs, and these rapid API endpoints are getting us quotes, so real-time quotes, detailed LHLCT, the hockey sticks, basically everything that most investors use coming from, yes, institutional data sources and at real-time rates to enable us to have the agent go, okay, can you work with non-stock tools? How well is the LLM working with all the stuff that's coming through the custom tools? Then we've set up a memory, which allows us to have that infinite chat experience of sorts where everything is just, constantly saved. We have a caching set up on our main LLM, but we're then not caching on the web browser LLM. And we have some embeddings here, powering this web browser, basic calculator, and then the OpenAI embeddings that are assisting us here with our RAG tool chain. So we have the tool that is able to go into, this is a 3072 cosine, so the large, basically the large. So actually here we have to switch that. So the text embeddings for the web browser can run on the cheapest, lowest one, 802. But actually for your Pinecone, since I'm working with, I use 3 large pretty much across the board. But again, that's a different scenario. So we have large RAG index and a specific namespace. And this is what will, allow us to do all of the testing. Okay, and let's now move on to the next part, which we will replicate all of these and then initialize them, or basically just say hello to, it's not a hello world anymore, but just hello, and see if they, we didn't mess up something and that kind of thing.